freedomslips.com, the #1 listener-supported talk radio station, throwing ourselves upon the gears of the machine. Revolution Radio, where information never sleeps.
You called down the thunder, well now you got it. Right! You tell them I'm coming! And hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
Revolution Radio!
Welcome everyone to I'm Nature. I'm your host, Brian Porter, and this week I'm privileged to have two great wisdom keepers of the Native tradition. I have Barbara Threecrow, Earthways teacher and intuitive healer. She has her own radio show on Wolf Spirit Radio on Fridays from 5 to 7 p.m. and it is called, Barbara?
Beyond Reality.
Beyond Reality, that's it. Yeah, we switched boxes there. So, okay, great. Beyond Reality, you got to catch it, folks. And then I also have a privilege to have Gerald Whitehorse. He's a Cree elder and wisdom keeper. And Gerald, welcome to I'm Nature. This is your first time on I'm Nature.
Indeed it is, and it's nice to be on your program, Brian. And like the saying goes, let's get the show running.
Yes. Well, I mean, I'm so proud of the Native people of down in North Dakota, and I guess we call it Turtle Island. They're really doing a great job of talking about this pipeline and how it's infringing on their sacred lands, and also the issue of the most likely and probable pipeline spill, which are occurring almost daily on this planet. So, are you proud of your brothers and sisters? Gerald.
Go ahead. Yes, by all means. And I'd like to correct you on a word, if you don't mind. And that is, we North American Indians, indigenous people, do not want to be referred to as native or aboriginal.
All right.
Did you know what the word native implies? And you know what the meaning of it is?
I thought it meant like first here, like First Nations.
No, that's their interpretation. That's their definition. But the real meaning of native is Noah created it. The story of Noah, in regards to the story that is connected to the Bible with Noah and his wife and his three sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, and their wives, after the flood, when the water receded down, is that Noah got drunk and he was lying with a girl that was stuck, that was hanging onto the ark during the flood. So he opened the window and allowed her to come into the ark without the family's knowledge. So after the flood, what happened is when he seeded some grapes, and he got drunk. He made some wine and got drunk, and he was lying with that girl that he saved from the ark, and he got laid out, so anyway, his son Ham came in, and excuse me for being graphic, but Ham had sex with Noah's girlfriend, so to speak, and got her pregnant. So as the story goes, according to the ancient documents, now this is the ancient documents that I'm talking about. So Noah cursed not Ham, but cursed the child that Ham got this woman pregnant, and that child became known as Canaan. And if you were to do history in regards to the people in Canaan, which is in essence the Middle East or Israel right now. So the players is that you got to understand in regards to what you're talking about in North Dakota at the pipeline, is that we as North Indigenous people know exactly what the issue is, and we're standing up to the truth. So, in what is the truth? And this is the thing I guess we could all be discussing regarding this. And okay, let me just get down to the nitty gritty.
Well, let's just clarify one issue.
Okay,
How do you like to be called? How do you like to be referred to as a people? Cree?
North American Indians.
Really?
Yes, and let me explain.
A lot of people don't like the term Indian. I've been told Indian is an insult because Indian refers to be actually landing in India, the country of India.
Okay, just a moment. You see what happened with the migration of all the people after the flood. Some people went and lived in that land. It was I don't know what the name was. Indo Europe, whatever, where India was quite a number of years ago. But anyway, is the reason why they call the Hindus of that country is there's a Spanish word called Los Indios. So when the Europeans arrived in India, they said, "Oh, they're Los Indios," which means that they're lost in God.
Ah.
So the people of that part of the country were called Indians. So the North American Indians over here, yes, we are lost in Deus. We are lost in God or lost in the Creator. Would you agree with that, Barbara?
Yes, I would. And I want to say that the term Indian is a misnomer. But unfortunately, for generic purposes, the people are forced to use it when speaking of the many different tribes. But, really any politically correct thinker who believes that Native American is the preferred identification tag, for instance, for the Lakota people or any other tribe, they're wrong. And it is true, most don't object to the term Indian or American Indian. So it's like Native American. Anybody can claim that they are Native Americans, and many people are. They can come from anywhere and say, I'm born here, I'm a Native American.
Precisely. And that's a very good point, you see. But the fact of the matter, what Barbara is talking about, and if you look at the two words, lawful and legal, there is a difference between that.
Oh yeah, there sure is.
So, in regards to what Barbara and I, what we represent as our people, is we are indigenous people, and we still practice a tribal custom and usage that has been handed on to us in time immemorial. So, yes, the songs and the dances and every ceremony that's connected to that is the rhythm of Mother Earth, in her heartbeat of Mother Earth, and everything else is connected to it. It's a science. I guess that's with a lack of a better term. I
I
would
do.
prefer. Yeah, go ahead, Barbara.
No, I was going to say that my relative Wallace Black Elk said that he called himself an earth person. That's why I say I'm a person of the mother. I'm the daughter of the Great Spirit, but I'm an earth person. That says that my relationship is to the mother and to all of that creation. So that's how I identify myself.
Precisely. That's a very, very good point indeed in what you just said. Because I guess what we're really talking about, Brian, is to answer the question, who are you? And to us as indigenous people, this is in essence about our very reason in discovering on who we are through creation. Like David Icke said, and I agree with that statement what he says. Everything in creation exists. God and his creation. Everything else is an illusion. So what Barbara and I are saying, we are connected to the rhythm of creation. In every aspect of our life, I talk my language, which is the Cree language, and I told you before the show, Brian, is that the Cree language is ancient Hebrew.
Oh, that's fascinating. I have no idea. Yeah.
Okay,
Now,
yeah, go ahead, Barbara. Go
okay,
ahead.
I was going to say about just to um, pinpoint what's going on out there at Standing Rock, okay, is what we're talking about are the people, our relatives there. They have been always known they are of the land. They know the water is sacred. They know the land is sacred, the mother. And today, in these last few days, and this has been going on, they are being arrested for protesting and protecting their own mother. And this is what is going on here. And so this is a travesty, of course, and it's an embarrassment. They should be embarrassed because how long has this been going on with, our people? When the Europeans first came here, they came to paradise. And what we know was here, many, many, numerous people were here. Families were here. Many, many tribes, different tribes. And when they came here, they found paradise and they also found harmony and balance and a relationship with the mother and all of creation that they had pretty much destroyed in Europe and other places already. And they also found a clan mother system. And they had to get rid of that really fast. They had to eliminate the clan mother system here that the people lived by, which is a partnership system between men and women. It's a time of walking in respect and honor of the men and women, the Mother Earth, and all of life. The conscious relationship to the mother. And of course, the main piece was about the awareness of everything that you did in this moment reflected on the next coming 7 generations, and they were conscious about that. So you have these people who are destroying, continually destroying, and this is what the people are standing up about, destroying the sacred mother, the earth, but also their ancestral burial sites. And you had them come here and see the respect for women, a clan mother system. They had to eliminate that quickly because, European women had no rights. They were pretty much slaves. They couldn't go to school. They couldn't own property. They had nothing. Couldn't vote. We know that. And they came here and they found a whole different type of system, a harmony and balance living on this earth here in the Turtle Island that we call it. And they had to work hard quickly to eliminate that. And they did a good job of it, but they're still remaining. The people are remaining. It's in their heart and their spirit. And these are the ones here at Standing Rock and many, many tribes coming together now that haven't been together in over 150 some years.
Yeah.
Well said.
I think it's beautiful the way there's so many that have come together, and I think they see the writing is on the wall. They cannot lose any more battles to save the mother.
Well, this is it. This is precisely exactly what both of you are talking about. So let's get down to the nitty gritty and bring everything into perspective and find out exactly why the global elite, the corporation, be what it may, is why they are doing that, attacking the people. Okay, are you ready for this?
Oh yeah.
Okay, did you know when you apply for your social security number, and up here in Canada we call it the SIN number, SIN, social insurance number, when you are of age, at the age of 18, you have to apply for that social security number to enable you to do work, right?
You got it.
Did you know, according to the law that's on the books, is when you apply, the word apply means to beg. So in other words, when you fill out the application form, you're asking them, please help me. Big government, socialist. You're asking the government for their help. So they ask you to fill out this form, and it's a legal form, and we'll discuss that as time goes on in regards to what we're talking about here. So when you apply for your social security number in the United States, did you know when you have that number, you become a federal government employee?
Yep.
Well, they sort of misclassify you as a federal government employee, is my understanding of it. Yeah, they certainly want everyone to think they are a federal government employee, yes.
No, this is in the books. This is in their law. So they classify us to be an employee of the federal government. But everybody talks about the Declaration of Independence in 1776, right? Right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that there was a constitution in 1871 that created the shadow government?
Mm-hmm.
Karen Hughes used to work with the World Bank. She exposed all of this, and this is what she said. So the United States corporation, with that new constitution that they have for the global elite and for the status quo, is in regards to everything that is done in the United States. They changed the law and the statutes, and they kicked out the Constitution of the United States, as well as in Canada. So to create a corporation. Do you know what the other word for corporation is? It means a corpse.
Yes.
What is a corpse? A dead person.
Mm-hmm.
But look at the word person, and you find the etymology of it. Look at, separate them. Per, son. Do you get it? Separate per and the word in person. You make two words, per, son. So everything became patriarchal, right?
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
that's what this is. This is what we're talking about. The patriarchal I call dominator rule, which started here. It started in Europe, and of course, then it made its way here. And that's the patriarchy dominator mind that was set out to eliminate anything to do with the sacred feminine and to destroy anything that was sacrosanct, sacred.
yep.
And you have this now, the system, and as a per son, yeah, everything is under the dominator patriarchy rule in our system. The banking system, financial system, the education system, the religious system, the political system, everything was set up in this country, Turtle Island, under that rule, the patriarchy rule.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it's actually worse than that. I think the fact that you're born dead, according to their system with a birth certificate, is more of a satanic system. It's worse than patriarchy.
That's
But,
behind it. It is it is. That's behind it. That's downright evil stuff.
yeah, it's basically why people don't realize that we're living at a time when they're actually trying to take this planet right down to like nothing. It's
Well, let's go a little.
serious.
Let's go a little. Yeah, let's go a little deeper, Brian.
Sure.
All right. What happened in 1540? Okay, let's go back into time again. 1491. Do you know what happened in 1491?
The First World War.
There's two. 1491.
Oh, that well.
They are
when we came here and attacked your people.
in 149. Well, the next year, yes, but they planned this all out.
Yes.
But the fact of the matter is, in my explanation on what we Indigenous people know the history of this, and in particular the teachings of Meredith Quinn talks about this, who's a Dakota Sioux, comes from the same area that this protest is coming from. So, okay, let's get down to the nitty-gritty in regards to this.
Okay.
There's two classes of people in Europe. There's the white tribes and there's the white race. The white race are Nephilims or hybrids. You hear me?
I hear you.
That was created after the flood from Samaria. So when they created that civilization, is that the men went up into the mountain and they did not want to face the Creator. They did not want to follow the Creator. So they went up in the mountain and asked for the fallen angels to come down to help them. The fallen angels came down. And the fallen angels came down the mountain to the people, and they were classified to be gods. So they started a civilization there. So these fallen angels that came down with the men interbred with the female woman in Sumer and produced a hybrid reptilian race. And they became known as the 13 satanic bloodlines. So they infiltrated all across Europe and all over the world. And our people know about this history, what I'm talking about, because they talk about it quite regular in our circles. So in other words, okay, now, like I said before, they migrated to, and they started, and they made this Tower of Babel through Nimrod. Excuse me. And this Tower of Babel, Nimrod, who created that, is with Semiramis. Semiramis became the high priestess of the temple inside the Tower of Babel. So the Semiramis and Nimrod got married. But Nimrod's mother was Semiramis. So he married his mother. And his mother married his son. So as the story goes in the ancient documents, is that they had a son, his name was Tammuz. That started the official Mystery Babylon religion. So after the Creator destroyed the Tower of Babel, they went and moved into Phoenicia. And after they moved from Phoenicia, they moved to Venice. And the people that landed in Venice became the bankers. All right? Now we have two classes of people, the white tribes, which is God's children, and there's the red tribes, there's the yellow tribes, and there's the black tribes, which is the Creator's children. Another classification is the white race. So what happened was in 408 AD, what happened was there was a white man by the name of Dragon Alaric gathered with the white tribes of Europe and conquered the Holy Roman Empire. Is there any evidence to this? And yes, there is evidence. Etched in a cave in Mexico City is the signing of the unconditional surrender of the Holy Roman Empire. How did Dragon Alaric, a small band of white tribes, to defeat the Holy Roman Empire? Is because at that particular point in time, the North American Indians, or indigenous people of North America, were obligated to go help their brothers in Europe. We did. And we told you, the white tribes, on what to do, this ancient knowledge that we're going to be talking about. that we're coming to terms with. Right, Barbara?
Yes, and so what we talk about when we say the elite or the cabal, um, we're really talking about that bloodline, okay, comes that far back, all right, that has gone through. It's the intermarrying of this race that continues this bloodline. This is the queen you're talking about. These are the
Yes.
Bilderbergs. These are the Rockefellers. These are all these people that are of that bloodline. And that's what
Pope
you're talking
Francis.
about. Yes,
Pope Francis, yes.
exactly. So
All,
that's,
all, yeah, these people that we're talking about, Brian, is these 13 satanic bloodlines occupy top positions of power in Europe and in China and in Africa, and they moved over here to North America. So I told you before, when they defeated the Holy Roman Empire in 408 AD, there is a treaty that was made called the Camel's-Eye Treaty or the Eagle Bowl Treaty. The Eagle Bowl Treaty is the Mayan calendar. There's another, it's called the Eye of Isis Treaty of 408. So because of the white tribes were so happy that we defeated the Holy Roman Empire, the white tribes of Europe made the North American indigenous people their allies. Do you understand, Brian? Allies.
I've never heard this story before, but it's quite interesting. So you're saying that some of the
No,
Indians from North America went to Europe and fought against the Romans?
this is the story of our people
I've never heard this before. Okay, no,
because nobody has asked us as
well,
Indian.
also, I want to say, not only has no one asked, they don't want to ask, you see. They
Exactly.
don't want to know the
Yep.
truth, the real history. So not only did they not ask, they ignored the fact of the wisdom that the people have. So yeah, now you see, now because the prophecies say that the elders need to speak now. The elders are
Exactly.
speaking. The voices of the elders, our ancestors are rising, and it needs to be heard now because this is the time of enlightenment and this is the time that the truth be told. So that's why you're hearing this for the first time.
no. I mean, I'm open to any interpretation of history. It's
And I do
just
want to say you're talking ancient wisdom here. This is not something that, in 1954 some native people elders got together and said, let's make this story up. This is handed down oral tradition, is centuries old, and prophecies come through, and prophecies, this is what we're talking about. I do want to say, when we say satanic bloodline, when you said this is Satan behind this is what we're talking about, the satanic bloodline.
yes.
Just to
Oh,
These are the
clarify
ones
that.
that are.
most definitely. No, I mean, my friend David William, who's an expert in natural law and hidden history, calls it. He confirms there was 13 powerful families that I think Rothschilds are one of them, but they're very well hidden, and they're pretty much running the show on Earth. Yeah.
Well, they're not
But
really
the
running
fact
the
of the matter
show.
is, though,
They're
Brian
they're
and Barbara,
Well,
Go ahead, Gerald. I
yeah,
was
the
gonna
thing
I
that I
was
was
gonna
going to
listen.
say,
I was gonna say that they're not really running the show. They're puppets. They're mind controlled. They're basically like robots. So they are not really running the show.
well,
Who is who?
it might go higher,
that
but in terms of human beings or whatever you want to call them,
They're not human.
hybrid reptilian, whatever you want to call them. What would you call them? Hybrids?
well, there's a Cree word for that we use, and we call them usigyasak, which means that they're reptilians.
Okay. So
So, like,
David Icke got his stuff from your history.
well, basically, because you see, the interesting thing about this is the history that started on Mother Earth was the Creator told some good angels to go come down to Earth and to build a city here on earth, and that city is called Lemuria in the lost continent of Mo. And as the original people, and I'm specifically talking about the original people of the white people, the yellow people, the black people, and the red people, all know this story because it's like what Barbara's saying. It's been handed down from generation to generation, and the holy spiritual people of Europe know what I am talking about. And as the saying goes in regards to this, is that the Creator, when He created a city on Lemuria in the lost continent of Mo, is that the Creator gave each one of these groupings a sacred pipe with 2 stone tablets.
Mm-hmm.
And they were asked to spread out all over the world. And so they did. But do not forget, there was no human beings yet, because these were the good spiritual beings that came down from the Creator's instructions to create a city for His children. The spiritual beings that we're talking about here are created beings. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
There's 9 divisions, and the books that they took out of the Bible, like the book of Enoch talks about this, the book of Jasher, the book of Jubilee. The most important book that they took out of the Bible is called The Daughters of the Great Spirit, and that book specifically talks about what Barbara's talking about is the clan mother's teaching. That is the great law on Mother Earth. Why do we call this planet Mother Earth? Because there are 3 beings. There is the Creator Father, there is the Creator Mother, and their Son, the Creator Son. Now, in order to make a distinction about what I'm talking about, let us go into some words. All right? Thought, word, and deed. Do you understand those words?
Thought, word, and deed.
Hello?
Yeah, I think so.
You think, and you speak, and you do the action.
Yes.
The thought comes from the Father. That's Yah, Y-A-H. The word, which is the water, and the word was his son Shu, S-H-U. So the word of way, which is a deed, is way, W-E-H. That is the mother. So in essence, what I'm talking about in the ancient language of Paleo Hebrew, I'll say it together, Yahshua. So when I say Yeshua in Cree, I'm specifically talking about the Father, the Son, and the Mother. Those are the Creator. They're the ones that created the universe. So there's a dynamic that has to be understood in our ancient teachings. Right, Barbara?
Yes, and I know we say Yeshua, but it's Yeshua, and it is meaning that. That's for sure. That's why I say the Creator, Mother, Father.
Yep.
The sacred feminine, the sacred masculine.
Yep.
And so I feel that it's our star brothers and sisters, we call them. That were the creators, the created ones were the star brothers and sisters. I call them the star brothers and sisters, and many people do.
Correct. And that's very, very true, because the original chief of our reserve is called Star Blanket, which means, okay, Star Blanket, right?
Yeah.
Star. And the Cree word for that is Atakakoop. So when you use the word Atakakoop, the first word attack comes from a Cree word which means Ekanatak, which means clean and pure. And this is where our land is called Canada, because of the word Ekanatak. So the Europeans adopted that name and says, yeah, we'll call this Canada because they could not pronounce Ekanatak. So a cope is a blanket, but it also comes from the word, from the bigger word, tepagope, which means 7. So the word atakakup, when you bring it all together in ancient teachings of wisdom, it's a man who is covered with the number 7. This is his ancient science, what Barbara and I are talking about. The instructions that come from the Creator and the Creator Mother. So if there are 3, so that means all the women are all the daughters of the Great Spirit. So they become the clan mothers, and that's the reason why they call this planet Mother Earth, because it has the teachings of a woman. Right, Barbara?
Yes, that's right. It's a struggle for people to get this. I know. It's a very, to me, it's, as you know, Gerald, the prophecy that was given to me many years ago that there would come a time when women would be leading the way, and the time would be time of trouble and time of change, very significant time. And it's about the return of the sacred feminine and the grandmother's teachings, the return to the sacred circles. And we are in that time right now. And this is the key piece. And it's not about eliminating our brothers, it's about that women were asked to lead the way, because the whole basis of creation is based on the sacred mother. And it's not about eliminating our brothers, it's about standing side by side in partnership and relationship in the beauty way. So, but it's
And also,
difficult.
and also to that statement, what Barbara's talking about, every one of us, Brian, is all born of a woman, right?
Right.
What evidence is to prove that is your belly button. So we know that we're all born of a woman. Doesn't common sense and logic tell you that the first woman that had children in a natural birth, that's another story, and when that whole idea about conception is tied up with these ancient teachings of wisdom that the mothers and the woman would teach the child from conception to age 12. That was the age bracket where the woman's responsibility is to tell the child about the courage of heart. Without that mother's teaching, we can never grow up to be men. We gotta have that, and we know for a fact that every indigenous nation in the world, whether you're red, yellow, black, and white, it was the mother that was the backbone of the home. And because of the woman's knowledge, she knew what was needed inside of a home. Now you talk about just what's happening in North Dakota. What do you think is really truly happening? Because let me just refer back in 1491. All right?
Okay.
So in the defeat of the Holy Roman Empire in 408 AD, the global elite had no other choice but to become indigenous like the rest of us. So they devised a plan to see how in a Sam Dickens they could rise up and to start ruling Europe once again, just like they did in the Holy Roman Empire. All right? You
Okay.
follow so far?
Yeah.
All right. Now it started with the bloodline that we're talking about in the Holy Roman Empire with the military. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
That they call legion. And that's where you get the word religion from.
Okay.
So, the ancient Roman guard, there's no more Roman Empire, so where are they going to go? So they started this secret society called the Priory of Sion. Does that ring bells?
I've heard of it. I thought you were
Okay.
gonna say they started the Roman Catholic Church, but anyways, it's got to be something.
Well, yeah, of course, I could go into that a little later on.
Okay.
But yeah, there's some interesting things in regards to what you're saying. But make sure that you come back, make a note of it so that we can talk about this.
Sure.
Because I want to make something really clear here. So the bloodline that we're talking about, the popes that developed these papal bulls, and in 1099, the bloodline there was 9 men, right? That
Yep.
started this Knight Templars.
The Knight Templars, yeah.
I've heard of them.
Okay, these are the ones that were connected to the Holy Roman Empire, bloodline-wise, and they wanted to gain power. So the Pope says, let's take Jerusalem away from the infidels, which is the Muslims. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's exactly what the Pope said. This started this crusades in 1099. So there's these 9 men that they say they are supposed to protect the pilgrims. But how in the Sam Dickens can 9 men protect the pilgrims? It just doesn't make any sense, doesn't it? But they were a secret society, so they made headquarters in the Solomon's Temple. The destruction, the Solomon's Temple that was destroyed, right? Because Solomon's Temple or Herod's Temple was destroyed in 70 AD. All right?
Okay.
So there's no Solomon's Temple now or Herod's Temple. So they made headquarters out of that. And these satanic bloodlines, they wanted to gain control of Israel, in particular Jerusalem. So they set up a headquarters there. So the 9 men were digging under Solomon's Temple. Do you know what they found?
No idea.
The lost books of Solomon, called Goetia, and Solomon's Lesser Key. King Solomon, when he turned it pagan, went against the Creator and started going into pagan practices. He knew how to conjure up fallen angels, demons, and evil spirits. That's the book called Goetia and Solomon's Lesser Key. So they took those books and they left, and all of a sudden they became rich. At that particular point in history, they started worshiping the goat's head, or this being called Baphomet.
Oh, yes.
All right?
Yeah.
So they became rich, and they became bankers. Do you get it?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So they became rich.
The money guy.
Yes, this started in 1099 and onward in time. So in 1491, the white race bought the lands of Europe back from the white tribes. Do you hear me?
Yeah. I hear you.
1491.
Hmm.
So the land of Europe went back to the global elite or the ancient mystery cabal, right, Barbara?
Yeah. It continues today.
Indeed, it does.
Yeah, and it's through the banking system. And so put the piece together here about Standing Rock and what they're doing there on that, destroying that land.
Yes, your social security number and your birth certificate. Right, Brian?
Well, yeah. I mean, the whole legal system is, I call it satanic. It basically makes everything dead. People,
Okay,
companies, basically they create a land of the dead, a world of the dead, and they've been ruling now for a long time.
Exactly. Now, though, okay, let me ask this question, and I want you and Barbara to answer this question. The people struggle down there in Standing Rock. Where is their birth certificate?
Where is it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure how many of them are living without a birth certificate. Some of them may be free.
Well, that's the question I give.
That's this question I don't have. Is I understand that most people who are born anywhere in North America or Turtle Island have to have a birth certificate. Does that not apply to Indigenous people, or is that only a white man's thing?
Oh, no. Don't get me wrong in regards to what I'm saying. You see, it is a required practice of the Indian agent that was placed in those communities is that form of paper United States come from the Department of Interior to try and steal the land and the resources from the Indian people through registration.
Right.
Do you know what the word registration means?
You got me. I used to know. Clarify.
This is what registration means. Registration of anything is a voluntary act of surrender, of custody of the property and the establishment of an account that can be charged in the name given. I'll ask you the question. Are the Indian people in Standing Rock, are they registered? They have to be.
Yeah, everybody's registered.
Most people are, yeah.
The majority of people are.
Yeah.
I would say the greater percentage of people are, and that does include, they made sure that includes the people of Standing Rock, all tribal people.
Well, wasn't that a job of the Department of Interior in the treaty process in the United States, starting with Fort Laramie Treaty?
Yeah, they all signed. Their mothers abandoned them.
Yep.
Not knowingly, of course.
Whoa! You just said something. Said something to Barbara. There was no full disclosure.
No, that's true. They didn't know.
And they didn't know, so there was no full disclosure. They were under intimidation, right? And under stress.
And they were starving.
Yeah,
they lost everything, and so in order to get food, in order to get provisions, in order to stop the murdering and so on, they signed unknowingly. They didn't know what they were signing away, generations and generations and generations.
So in other words, what you are saying, Barbara, is this. They did not know that the people running the government tricked them into giving them their name. Right?
That's correct.
Now, let's go back in the history. 1540. There was a papal bull that was made by a pope, and he made himself 3 crowns. You can study this, what I'm talking about. It's part of history. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that pope's name was Pope Sylvester. He declared to the whole world that he was God himself. So he made and commissioned 3 crowns to be made for him on his coronation. The first crown was for the land. He claimed all the land on Mother Earth. The Roman Catholic Church, Brian, the Pope. You hear me?
I hear you.
So he claimed all the land. The second crown is to claim the bodies. The third crown is to claim all the souls lost at sea. That's in 1540. So that law kicked in. Look at 1491. The white race bought the lands from the white tribes. Okay, in 1492, what happened? They sent Christopher Columbus. But that wasn't his real name. I believe it, Christopher Colon or Colon. And Christopher Columbus was a cipher. It was a code. And he was a Jew. Not the real Jew from Israel or Jerusalem. He was a Jew from the Khazarians.
Yeah.
You hear me?
I hear you. I've heard this story before.
Yeah, we're right on there with you.
Yeah.
All right. So he was hired by Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand. Queen Isabella pawned her crown jewels to pay for the trip, right?
I believe you.
All right. All right. Who owned the ships? The ships were owned by the Venetians, bankers, and it was called the East India Company. You hear me?
I hear you.
And the East India Company was controlled by the Knight Templars, the bankers that were in Venice, in Genoa and Venice. So that set the stage to come over here to discover.
All right. Oh, sorry. I had my mute on, guys. All right. We're back here with I'm Nature. I'm your host, Brian Porter, and this is the time where I like to do a little spiel about supporting Revolution Radio. It's one of the best places on the internet to get information on what's really going on this planet. And I really congratulate all my co-hosts, about 80 of them, on 2 different studios. I strongly advise people to subscribe to the archives, which are about $5 a month. So please support Revolution Radio, and we're really enjoying a tremendous show here. I've never heard this version of history from an Indigenous person, so I'm really learning a lot from Gerald here. I'm having a problem hanging on to Barbara Threecrow. I'm not sure why. Gerald, are you still here?
I'm still here.
Okay. Is there a caller here?
Looks like it. It must be Sidney Chief, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is.
Identify yourself, caller.
Yeah, my name is Sidney Chief, Mystic and Cree Nation.
Oh, awesome. Okay, you're a friend of Gerald's?
Yes, I am.
Well, welcome to I'm Nature. Thanks for calling in.
You're welcome.
All right. So, Gerald, do you want to pick up where you left off in terms of the history of your, according to your tribe?
Well,
it's quite fascinating.
Well, as a matter of fact, it's not the history of my tribe. It's the history of all people on Mother Earth.
Okay.
In order for, I guess, to bring everything into perspective, that we go back to the source, which is this intelligence designer that created the creation. Like what Barbara was talking about in regards to what she was saying about the clan mother's teaching. That Sidney and I, and he can speak for himself whenever he wants to speak up. And so let me just finish exactly what I was talking about so that we could go into many other topics. Because I'm sure that there's a lot of people, yes, this is the first time that they heard this information in history. But I guess that's the beauty of this internet, so that we could be able to talk about this, specifically coming from the indigenous people of North America, and also particular in this province of Saskatchewan, and which is a corporate province to begin with, and it'll become clear as I explain. So in 1491, like I said before, the white race, or the 13 satanic bloodlines, bought the lands from the white tribes of Europe. So 1492, they sent out Christopher Columbus, and I told you before it wasn't his real name, it was a cipher and a code. He was hired by Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand of Spain. So, in other words, the ships that were going to do this voyage was owned and operated by the international bankers in Genoa and Venice. So, but anyway, that set the stage in regards to what happened in 1492 to discover, supposedly, North America. And I just don't particularly care much for that statement, because what are we, chopped liver? You know? And, okay, we could discuss that, because one of the interesting things why I'm talking this way...
Can I ask you a quick question? If you went there in, 400, and you had a battle with, help the white tribes overthrow the
Roman Empire.
Roman Empire, they knew you were there.
I'm back, you guys.
Thank you, Barbara.
How did you come back? I've been trying to get...
I got completely knocked off of Skype. I had to put in my password again. Everything went weird here.
Okay, because I tried to grab you about 10 times, and you're showing up as there, but you weren't being. It wasn't happening. Okay.
Yeah.
So is you believe that, as I do, that they knew you? There were a lot of people living here on Turtle Island.
Oh, definitely. That's true, isn't it, Barbara and Sidney?
Yep.
Hi, Sidney. Oh, it's wonderful to hear your voice.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a while.
Yes.
But anyway, let's go back to the discussion, okay? So what happened was they discovered... Did you know that the word discovery is a legal term?
Oh, there's lots of ways of defining words, and legal terms are often very deceiving, and they hide the true meaning of the word. Yeah.
Very good. I'm glad that you mentioned that, because we will discuss that whole aspect of legalese. Now, there are three groups of people called the attorneys, solicitors, and... oh, what's the third one? Oh, barrister. That the Knight Templars started in that round temple. Have you ever seen that show, what the heck's his name? The Da Vinci Code?
Yes.
In London, England? That
Yes.
round building?
Yes.
Okay, that's where the history is. Okay, this is where the Knight Templars moved to.
Is that where the center core of the financial district of London is? Is it in that area?
You got it.
Yeah.
And the city that they call the city is a sovereign state in itself.
Yes.
London, of course, is another thing altogether. There are three sovereign states, which is Rome, or the Vatican, London, and Washington, D.C. That is the flag that is flying over Washington, D.C. with the 3 stars on it. And it is also implies with the 3 stars is the 3 nails that they used to crucify the Creator's Son. Now, in Roman times, it was the Roman religion, starting with Julius Caesar and on, that they were going to crucify anybody that was tribal. And it carried on to history. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think they're doing down at Standing Rock?
Carrying on the.
They're tribal, aren't they? They're bringing in the Inquisition, started by the Roman Catholic Church. So, in 1492, Christopher Columbus did not land on United States soil, but ended up in the Caribbean islands, in particular Puerto Rico. He established through Spain, and in Puerto Rico, and Puerto Rico is the real government of the United States of America.
That's where the IRS is.
You got it.
Yeah.
All right. So now, the reason why it's called Washington, D.C., it's a District of Columbia that they created in the Constitution of 1871, the shadow government. It's the shadow government that is in charge right now. They could not care less about the United States Constitution or the Declaration of Independence, because it's the international bankers that are coming in the United States, and they're the ones that are making the policy through the Federal Reserve. And Obama is just a puppet. And I'm sad to say, Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, is just a puppet.
Oh, definitely. Okay, Gerald, I just want to give Sidney a chance to say a few things. He's joined.
Yeah, by all means.
Appreciate him calling in, and welcome to I'm Nature, Sidney. And what led you to give us a call?
Oh, I was talking to Gerald earlier today about a few concerns. I phone him once in a while, sharing what's happening up here. A lot of the stuff that are happening over here and all over the Indian country is some of the things that are happening in a deeper sense, like the oil spills, the fires that we've been having, are much deeper than what people think. The sleeping people don't understand what's going on. All these fires that have been going on, and some of these oil spills are things people would be focusing on these fires and focusing on while the elite are up to no good. There were 7 countries that were supposed to be eliminated by Clinton. The United States government were putting. They put out a 5-year. I don't know if you can call it an agenda, where 5 countries would be eliminated, and that's what's been happening. All these wars that have been happening, and the United States government have been funding, and then turning around and creating, starting wars over there and bombing innocent people. So while we're focusing on oil and fires over here, a lot of things are happening overseas, and we're not concentrating on our government. And the government is up to a lot of things, like what shenanigans that they've been up to. And they use all kinds of laws to suit them. Now, the Dakota pipeline, the people in the Dakota pipeline, I don't know if this will work, but they use the Batman clause, because I think exactly after George Washington became the president, well, we know that he was not the first president, but the historians, the Freemasons, the Illuminati, make a point that he was the first president, and everybody thinks so, because people don't study it, you don't do research. But anyway, some of these common treaties that we're talking today are fraud. I think Gerald was talking about the crown. People think the Queen is the crown title, where the Queen sold out to the Crown Corporation, District D.C., the Vatican, and Rome. I think it's in England, the Tri-City Empire. And these people are the ones that are running the show. So every time we're talking about crown, we're talking about these the Vatican being the religion, the United States being the military, and England being the bankers. So we have all these at play here, and a lot of people don't understand because it's too deep. So a lot of times I phone Gerald to see current issues and then to confirm. Now a lot of things are out of whack here. It's a very spiritual war that we're having right now, and it's very difficult to grasp that we're having this spiritual war happening because a lot of times we see something that Creator could be helping the people.
Sidney,
right now I'm looking at the menorah.
Sidney, can I just ask you a question? I got
Go
somebody in chat wants to know your last name. He's living in Little Pine. His name is Jean-Paul Baptiste.
Jean-Paul Baptiste. My last name is Chief, but my great granddad's original name was Ogama.
All right.
Hopefully that explains the question on chat. But that's my corporate Christian name, is Sidney Chief, but Wapihu is my real name, given name by my people. So my slave name being Christian, again, there's something that's starting to be understood by this corporate, how you become a sheep. You are part of the sheep when you're talking about your Christian name, your birth certificate, and your social security number. Whereas if I'm Wapabihi, I'm not on that list. I'm no longer corporate slave.
Are you free of all that documents? Have you freed yourself?
Well, there's a problem. I believe that Little Pine and our reserve here, Frog Lake, Joseph Bigot, Loon Lake, have been having communication as to there's things that are happening in Canada and United States about birth certificates and social security numbers. And I myself have not taken that route because we were told this to leave everything. The Creator will deal with everything and not to sign anything. So right now we're in that, I don't know how you could say it, but I didn't want to tell Gerald that. Now I told him. Now he knows.
You know, I want to say that I remember we were talking about this a while back when Patty was on and Lance was on, and we were talking about all this involvement and all this mess and getting involved in this dark web of the government system. And we were talking about stepping away from it and really knowing that the Creator would take care of things. And this is about our faith and trust and faith in Creator, I feel, rather than getting embroiled in all of this mess, and to keep ourselves in a better frame of mind in relationship to the Mother and the Creator, and continue our work, our sacred works, our ceremonies, and so on, and not get embroiled in this mess, because it's a different frequency, it's a different energy. And that's just, my feeling. And I know we had talked about that a while back. And, so I wanted to just put that out. Of course, it's personal choice, however anybody wants to proceed in their life. But I would just like to, add that piece.
Well, this is why I didn't want to throw that monkey wrench at this time, because, again, I'll ask you this simple question, all the people, viewers. If I were to ask the viewers and everybody on air, when you're talking about sovereignty, how many levels of sovereignty are there? Or is there only one? My interpretation has always been one. Either you are or you're not. But according to some, there's 6 levels of sovereignty. So to me, I question that. And I don't want to debate with Gerald about that, because Gerald is very learned, studied this for more years than I have. But the research that I'm talking about, we understand that there's a spiritual war happening, spiritual things happening, and we've been told not to sign anything at this time, and the Creator will deal with it. So there's a lot of things that are happening right now, government having problems, and the red people, the original people of this country, this continent, are starting to, gain that foothold, and they're being recognized as the original people. A lot of people, Bernie Sanders, a lot of people in the media are coming out and saying, the original people, we are the original people. 500 years of murder and activity taking place in North America. And so there's actually something deep happening here where North America knows who the original people are. But we have never been given that position or title to be recognized as the original people. Apartheid in Canada, in the United States. But we've never been given that position to say what we wanted. I believe that white people came to this continent. I believe that we should allow, it's not for us to say. I think that we need their help, and they need our help. And I think Gerald was talking about this particular thing when I came on, and that's why I'm saying, I guess it was meant to be that way. But then there's a few bad apples that changed that course, and now we have to, the good has to come out of this, the ego has to come out of this. These people have to be taken out. And I think the Creator's dealing with that. I can go into the menorah, but I don't want to steal your thunder, Gerald, because I think the menorah and the Bible explains all that, is that we can go into that some other time. But right now, I feel this is what's happening. The time frame, the appointed time is, their time is up. The jig's up. But it's been they've been at power for so long that it's not going to take overnight to eliminate all this mess, but it's going to happen. Chaos, order out of chaos, so to speak. So I'll give it back to you. Is it Brian?
Yeah. Well, why don't we let Barbara speak about the menorah? This is prophecy?
I don't know anything about the menorah.
Oh, you don't?
But I'd like to speak about what happened. I want to share this because this is very important. Now I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but the people up, the Haida clan mothers, the Haida, is the Haida or Haida?
Haida.
The Haida, did you know that the Haida clan mothers stripped the two chiefs of titles for supporting the Enbridge pipeline? I don't know if you knew this, but
I
this
sent
is
this to you. I
up.
sent that.
No, 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 no. I found this. I sent it to you, darling. In British Columbia, we talked about this.
Oh, I
They
thought I sent it to you. Okay.
No, they stripped two hereditary chiefs of their titles because they supported the construction of an Enbridge
Yeah.
pipeline that the nation fought in court. So these two chiefs signed a letter of support of the pipeline, and the clan mothers threw them out. And
Wonderful.
that's the way of the clan mothers. This is when they are not in alignment with the people for the good of the people. The clan mothers appoint the chiefs, and they can remove them if the chiefs are really not in alignment for the good of all the people. This is what we're talking about in
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, it is.
And this
How
is
much
what
time do we have, Gerald or Brian, so we can
have
talk a little
about,
bit about the menorah?
We have about 30 minutes left, maybe 28.
Gerald, are you game?
Oh yeah, don't. Yeah, absolutely.
Come close, Gerald. You sound like you're far away now.
Okay,
Really?
I'll start you off then,
Better.
Gerald, and then maybe you can give your feedback. And I don't know what the viewers will take. The viewers will have a take on this.
Well, we have a podcast, so they can pick it up. No problem.
Okay, then I'm going to start off. So hopefully, Barbara, you're in agreement with this. But I'm gonna do this. When you talk about the menorah, seven candlesticks,
There it is.
seven candles
There it is.
on it.
I see it.
Okay, when we're talking about the Bible, when exactly did the Bible start, according to Bible scholars? 6,000 years ago. All right. Now, according to the Bible scholars, Adam and Eve began 6,000 years ago. And we know that's not true. But for many years, we bought the story because we had no choice. We were put in that position. The players took away our God and put their God in. Now, this is what's happened. So we lost our way because we believed in a different God other than our God. But 6,000 years ago, supposedly life began. Now, we're at that 6,000 year point. Now, we have one more candlestick to go. According to my theories, this is the time frame that 1,000 year reign of peace, according to how I see it. There could be different interpretations. But when you study the Bible and you study the works of the elite and pretty much the handwritings on the wall of how the English language was designed and the number system. When you're talking about the number system, you see that there's only 1 to 9, no 0, no 10, but 1 to 9, 1 to 9. I think that I didn't know what the geometry. I'm trying to think of that name.
Sacred geometry.
Sacred geometry.
No, there's a different name, but
Pi, the golden rule.
No,
well,
the
okay, let's put it this way.
Numerology.
The players,
Okay.
the elite, they designed the English language starting from the Phoenicians. But before the Phoenicians, I think they had already planned out the English language. And today we're having the problem. When you say one word, it could mean 10 different things. But the people in power have their own interpretation of that word. And you can mislead the rest of the sheep. Then they have their own language. But so this point in time, the revelation and the revelation and the apocalypse, the third world
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. I guess
We
that's
lost.
pick
We
Yeah.
up,
lost.
Gerald. I think we lost him.
Well, I want to say this is the time the prophecy speaks about this time as moving into the fifth world, 1,000 years of peace, and this is why everything is falling apart. Why the patriarchy dominator cabal, is falling apart. Everything that they've set up in place is falling apart. This is prophecy. You just look around and you can see it. Everything is being exposed. Everything is being talked about. The people are awakening, and they're getting smarter and understanding or understanding this whole system, how we have been enslaved. And the more and more we talk about it, the more and more people, pass this through to others. But this is such a crucial, amazing time that we are taking part in. And so prophecy is unfolding. So I guess I'd say, yeah, that's why before I said, let Creator do her work, because she's at work. Believe me.
Indeed, she is, Barbara, and that's well said. And it's too bad that Sidney, we lost him. And
I think he's back now.
okay. So what I was going to say in regards to what Sidney was talking about and Barbara's talking about, really, the formula that all indigenous people talk about, the true people that understand these ancient teachings of what we're talking about here, is the formula is the present minus the past equals the future.
Right.
So dealing with the here and now, all the history that we're talking about is in regards to keeping the indigenous people intact and their teachings. So there is an ancient evil cabal, in particular the 13 satanic bloodlines, that are here to destroy it. They want to rule the world. So that is what is happening in Standing Rock in regards to this. So the question,
But Gerald, I want to
yeah,
say that the
yeah,
people of Standing Rock on Turtle Island, the people of Turtle Island, don't want to rule the world. They want to
oh no,
protect. They want to protect the world, right?
indeed, yes, absolutely. Thank you for that.
Can I say something else too? Everyone
Absolutely,
on this planet is under attack, not
yes,
just the indigenous people. And
exactly.
I want to
Absolutely.
get to
Black,
As-
red, yellow, and white.
Yeah.
Exactly.
because we're all indigenous people
That's right.
There you go.
at our roots.
This is the really to bring everything into perspective, that we realize that the red, yellow, black, and white are all brothers and sisters. Try to maintain and live in this creation, what Barbara is talking about in regards to returning back to the ancient teachings which the clan mothers hold. So once we have, yeah, go ahead.
Can I make a point?
Oh
Go
yes,
ahead.
please, Steve or Sydney.
Did you know what just happened just now in my area? Blackout. Now, I don't think that blackout was natural.
Mm-hmm.
You know that these people don't like their history told.
They mess with us, right?
Yeah. Sometimes my internet goes out of whack when I'm emailing somebody. But anyway, yeah, okay, so I'm just going to finish it off, Gerald, so that
Yeah, go ahead.
we can continue the discussion. So basically, in a nutshell, the apocalypse, we all know what apocalypse means. According to some people, to the general population, apocalypse means the end times or the destruction and whatnot. But the true meaning of apocalypse is out of the parchment. There's supposed to be some truth coming out. Now, to make it plain, layman's terms, the truth is being revealed. And that's what apocalypse means. And so this is what's happening. They were the Bible talks about end times. That's not true. There is no end times. The only end time for every one of us is when we go, like say the end time for me is when I pass from this dimension to the next dimension, the world continues, but my time is over. So this menorah that I'm talking about is their own story. They knew their time is, the jig's up. So that's the whole ball of wax. They know. But a lot of times when somebody's going to go, they're going to take a whole bunch of people with them. Lucifer or Satan is going to take a whole bunch of, he wants to take a whole bunch of people. He knows his time is up. So the spiritual war that's happening, he knows the jig's up. So this, all this thing that is happening all over the world, the spiritual war, that's exactly what's happening. And I don't know how long it's going to take. We don't know, maybe a month, 2 months, 3 years, 7 years. But that's my interpretation of it. So I'm kind of thinking Aquarius being the new age, the 1,000-year reign or whatever. I'm expecting, I always say I'm expecting somebody to come and tell us the good news. And this is my, I've been waiting for that. Okay, so Gerald, thank you. Brian, thank you. And Barbara, I'll listen from here on.
Oh, thank you.
Question for Sidney. Do you have a Skype account?
A what?
Do you have a Skype account?
No, I don't.
Okay, we got to get you on Skype because
we want to talk to you more.
Yeah. Well, you sound good now, but before you got cut off, you were very low. So now you're better, but Skype's always clearer. So, yeah.
You know, it's the age of Aquarius, you know, it's the age of enlightenment and this new age, this new world, that age of enlightenment. I believe I'm right there with you on that. I feel very strongly about this. I've been talking about this for years because, you know, and I said, you know, the Aquarius up in the star, the constellation Aquarius. So we are in the age of Aquarius now, but we left the age of Pisces, you know, and the Pisces represents, of course, you know, Yeshua, as we know, the fish. But also they messed around with language, as we know, as you were talking about. The language is very dark. Our English language has frequency, and things that we say, we don't really realize what we're saying energetically. But they have, like you said, their own language, and they imprinted this particular way of speaking so that we would be constantly sending out these particular frequencies, which are not on the high end, and they're confusing. The language is manipulated. We are in that process of constantly. But I want to say about the sign Aquarius. They messed with Yeshua's words, who originally said, "Go to the house of the man who is holding or carrying the vessel, the water vessel." And I was thinking about that, and I was saying, why would a man carry a water vessel? It was always the woman who carried the water. The women went to the well. The women still go to the well in countries. They still carry the water jugs. They go to the well. They are the water carriers. They have the water in the womb. The life force of the mother is the water. We are water. And so they messed with those words, you know. And so this age of Aquarius is really the age of the return of that mother, the mother tongue, not the English tongue, the mother tongue. So I just want to throw that in there to you guys.
Yes, it's interesting what Sidney and Barbara were talking about on the subject. We want to make it clear in regards to this. When Sidney was talking about apocalypse, it means the revealing, enlightenment. Let the truth be known. So the truth is going to be given to every man, woman, and child on earth. Okay, in regards to the numbers that Sidney was talking about, 1 to 9, All right? We go through cycles of 9. So let us take the number 2016, this year. Let's add all the digits together. 2 plus 0 is what?
It adds up to 9.
Yes, it adds up to 9.
Yeah.
2 plus 0 plus 1 is 3, plus 6 is 9.
Yeah.
That's the end of the cycle. 2017 is 10, or 1 again. So what is the Creator trying to tell us in his numbering in geometry and numerology? He says that I'm going to be doing something. And people are waking up and hearing the message. In regards to what Barbara and Sidney are talking about, the people that's happening in this protest of the pipeline, can you imagine that there's an enlightenment there, and these people, remember what Sidney said, it's a spiritual battle against the dark forces of evil? Can you imagine if all the people in the world were to band together and send them this frequency of love and light? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I do want to say that in reference to the people there at Standing Rock, they went into traditional ceremony, as the people do, with the sacred pipe and prayed that way. The information they got, the guidance they got through that ceremony, through that sacred pipe, was peaceful protection.
Indeed.
And so that's where the people stood. They listened to Creator. When Creator speaks through that sacred ceremony, that's the way the people follow. So then you have the goons and the people that are digging up the earth deliberately come to provoke the peaceful people so that they can bring in the big guns, so that they can bring in those dogs. I saw the film of the dogs with the blood on their mouth and dripping out of their tongues as they bite in the people there. And these goons that they sent, and they deliberately drove these machines 20 miles from the original digging area to a sacred site, burial site, and started digging on a Saturday deliberately to provoke the people so that they could say that the people are not peaceful, that they are troublemakers, that they are breaking the law. So, this is their typical method that they play. This is the game that they play.
Indeed it is. But you see, the answer to the problem is economic. In regards to when we're talking about criminal charges within a court system and the laws and the statutes that are attached to it, criminal, if you were to do research in that area, criminal is commercial. Did you know what the etymology, the real meaning of commerce is, Brian?
Oh, I don't.
Barbara?
Oh, I know. I heard you talk about this.
Commerce is sex.
Oh, that one.
Sex.
Oh, that one.
Commerce is...
Do you know about the UCC here? I'll ask you a question, Gerald.
Okay, go ahead.
I've never had a guest ask me so many questions.
That's
Pardon me?
Gerald.
That's Gerald. Gerald, do you know about the UCC, Universal Commercial Code?
Yes, that is the most powerful piece of legislation that they made.
Yes.
And there are 3 forms of court. Number 1 is a UCC court. The second one has to do with contracts. And the third one is Talmudic law. So, but anyways, you got to know the 3 forms of court and what type of documents you need to be able to prove on who you are. This is precisely exactly what we're talking about when we submit our documents that are lawful. Have you ever heard of the word JAG? JAG?
No.
Judicial Advocate General.
Ah.
What kind of power do they have?
I,
You hear the word? Judicial Advocate General. You hear the military term there?
okay. I got
Do you remember Abraham Lincoln in the Civil War?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember why he got assassinated? Because he turned the international bankers, he kicked them out and created greenbacks. Right? The real money.
Mm-hmm.
So he got assassinated for that, and that's the reason why the assassinated, because the very central focal point in regards to what we're talking about. Okay, let me just give you another thing. Do you know what water means?
Oh God.
Water.
Water. Well, water.
In
Water
Yeah,
is a
water.
very powerful thing. What does it mean? I think it means life.
To them. To them.
Well, yeah, there's something about my friend David Williams says that the sewer law is the most powerful law in the world.
The
That's how
sewer law.
it's all connected through sewer law. Yeah.
You know what another name for sewer is? System.
Well, it's a commodity. It's a commodity to them.
It did. There you go. That's exactly the point. There it is right there. But in regards to water, to them, water is money. Commerce is sex. So what is the problem that we have in humanity is a whole question of sex. Barbara.
I'd say that's a big problem.
Indeed it is, isn't
It's a
it?
very big problem. And I will tell you that things are messed up pretty much and getting pretty more so messed up deliberately about that. You know, you have the brainwashing, the mind control affecting people. You have a rise in pornography. You have a rise in objectification of women and so on. You have the confusion going on. You have the battle between the sexes, as they call it, the battle between the sexes. You have the separation. It's all deliberate. It's all deliberate.
Indeed, it's been
It's an
planned that way.
agenda. It's planned that way.
Yes, look at the transgender question right now, isn't it? You know what it is? Have you heard, Brian, have you heard of what they call the pink swastika?
No.
That is the homos, excuse me, I don't want to sound discriminatory or prejudicial, but pink swastika is the teaching of Nazism, but the color pink isn't towards the people that are homosexual.
Well, that's well known. Yeah.
I'll put in my 2 cents in there.
Come on in.
Okay. Can I just say that we're about 5 minutes away from the end of the show,
Oh, okay.
and I think that people should wrap up. My final, I haven't said much this show because I don't usually have 3 guests on, but I hope we have another show because I want to focus on solutions.
Yes.
We're never going to agree on our articulation of history between different races or ethnic backgrounds or whatever. To me, the real issue is we're dealing with a very dark system right now, and how can we fix it? Is it all prophecy? Do we have to intervene? Those are the kinds of questions I want to deal with on the next show. But I really appreciate your historical rendition because I literally had no idea that at some point in time the indigenous people from North America went to Europe. I mean, that's fascinating. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody else want to make a closing statement?
Well, I really thoroughly enjoyed this, and thank you very much, Brian, and thank you, Barbara.
Oh, it's wonderful to be on a panel with you. Also, again, yeah, beautiful. I really enjoyed it, and I hope we do this again. There's so much to share, and yeah, I'm all for solutions. And I know, Sydney said it's a spiritual war, and it is a spiritual war. The war is within us, that spirit, as well as the collective, and I think that's a piece that we might want to expound upon next time.
Yep.
Sydney?
I'm in agreement. I echo everything that's been said. Yeah. Until next time. We'll be waiting. When is the next time?
I have to get you a Skype. Well, we could do it in 2 more weeks. I've got a great show next week on Ayurvedic medicine and Vedic knowledge, and then another great indigenous tradition. Actually, it's very connected to the earth, the whole thing. So, yeah, we could do it in 2 weeks. That would be great to have everybody back, and we could explore other issues. And like I say, I want to try to keep it more present day focus, and see how we can create unity between all the races of people here to be bloggers.
I do want to say to the people listening, thank you very much. And also, there are solutions. We've talked about the solutions on many shows, and definitely not to despair. And and we are all in this together, and their spirit is at work. We're not alone in this. That's one thing I just want to share.
Yes, and also when Barbara was talking about the age of Aquarius, we're coming out of the light. We've been traveling through a dark tunnel. Now we're coming into the light. So it's a good reflection about people are waking up, which is a good sign. Thank you very much, dear listeners.
Okay, excellent. Yes, we're definitely we need to encourage people not to be fearful. I think this is one of the great ways that they suck energy out of us.
Mm-hmm.
All these things going wrong, and we think, oh God, the end of the world. Well, the world will never end, and we never end. Our lives are infinite. It's just one reincarnation after another. We are actually here, I think, to grow spiritually and to learn how to become warriors, not just individually, but I call it the creation of the family of families.
Indeed.
This is what I'm trying to recreate, the family of families.
Indeed. We resonate with that.
And the prophecy, there's so many prophecies that are unfolding, the Rainbow Warrior prophecies, all the people of all color coming together, the awakening, the enlightenment, the time of the transition into the new world, 1,000 years of peace, all of the chaos, the world of chaos, leaving that, and everything that built that falling apart, disintegrating and breaking up and shattering. So all these things are unfolding, and it's amazing, beautiful time to be here.
Yes, and I'd like to add to what you just said, Barbara, because the prophecies of the indigenous people of North and South America know that this Turtle Island is going to be reverted back to the indigenous people, and it's going to be comprised of a family of the red, yellow, black, and white.
Beautiful. Wow, what a great way to end it.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
That's perfect.
Hey.
Okay, you all. Thanks for coming on I'm Nature, and we'll be back next week with some Ayurvedic knowledge.
Listen to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
This is Barbara DeLong, host of Nightlight Radio, inviting you to join me on a cosmic journey, exploring a metaphysical montage of spiritual material, covering everything from the mundane to the magical, UFOs to unicorns, and everything in between, including spiritual readings for those who seek enlightenment. Let Nightlight provide you with equal measure of light, love and laughter, insight, wisdom, and inspiration. Monday nights, 10 to 12 p.m. Eastern, right here on Studio B, Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com.